As you can see, it's been a bit of a morning. Welcome, hello. This stream is going to be unpleasant, and I think it's coming from a bad place. So it's taking me extra long to prepare myself for it. And as such, I will now present you some of this beautiful new Chad, brand new Chad.
What's interesting to me is how mainline Christianity lost its overt connection or identification with Christianity. And what's interesting to me is sort of the transition from a positive neutral to a negative world. That's of more interest to me. And that's what's in many ways made this transition difficult. So if you go back and you say, look at the United Methodist Church, and you look at this centrist who's LGBTQ affirming, but basically is looking at the difference between, let's say, an affirming evangelical salvationist versus a liberationist social justice person. He's saying you just lose it. You just get lost. The tension can't be held. Now, I don't know where to go with that. I'm not sure the tension. I certainly try to hold the tension, but it's that the idea is that, well, if we can just keep trying to keep them in church, and maybe by having sort of an accommodationist posture, we can keep them in church. The difficulty is there's very little evidence for that in terms of what's happened over the last 20 years. That's part of the reason that I've basically moved on from that position. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening at all. In a place like Central California, the churches that were the most accommodationist have done the poorest. And this goes back to what Lyle Shaler said in the 70s and 80s, that basically the dynamics of a congregation is that congregations are strengthened by counterculturalism. And so if you're just sort of a little less edgy, like the people on TV, like the cool kids, but you're trying to be nice with Jesus too, people won't be bothered by you.
All right. Well, I did recall I was steering toward the children of Set issue and,
Yes.
and trying to explain that more clearly.
Right.
And okay, so I begin it with the War of the World. Now I know you all saw that, but do you notice what Chad did there in his masterful mimetic skills ways? Watch carefully. Well,
if you're just sort of a little less edgy, like the people on TV, like the cool kids, but you're trying to be nice with Jesus too, people won't be bothered by you.
All right. Well, I did recall I was steering toward the children of. Is that what is he saying, that I'm like a little less edgy than the people on TV, but I'm trying to include Jesus too? Hey, Saint Sartori, good to see you. I'm sure he does this knowing we'll need him. Yes. This one you might. And there's no evidence of that in the last. What? I don't know evidence of. Anyway, yeah, I'm still not ready, but I should give you the savings throws part now, right? Let's do that part. Everybody loves these. There's mind control everywhere. It's spells, I'm telling you, and that's a spell, and you can save against those spells with the savings throw against mind control. All you got to do is choose survival, social, wisdom, or heart. If it's over 10, you get half damage from the mind control. If it's under 10, you take full damage. But remember, everybody, we want what's best for you. Survival, social, wisdom, or heart? Cheers. Oh, survivalists. That's a 10. That's a 10. Socialist, pairing up, also a 10. Lovers of wisdom. You sure do deuce a lot. And hard folks, though, you don't need your bonuses, man. That's a nat 20 for you. I think anybody who chose hard today can have a +5 on next stream for their nat 20. Indigo kids, you got a 14. You got a 14. Set issue and trying to explain that more clearly.
Right.
And okay, so I begin it with the War of the Worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In which whether or not the actual human beings were convinced and fooled by a radio broadcast that aliens were attacking, afterward, the notion that the human beings were so foolish and convinced was sold to the public.
Yeah.
And then the newscaster era began as television and set came onto the scene. And the chief spell that the newscaster cast is the same as the Voldemort is dead spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's everything is there's lots of horrible stuff, but we have it under control. Just keep doing what you're doing. And that worked because there was no, the only real intercommunication aside from that was people's letters to each other.
Right.
The only counter narrative, but that was up until then. The dominant narrative was reinforced via the churches, and then as television sets became normalized, and that's the chief function of set, is to normalize various behaviors in the culture. I remember like Will and Grace, for example, was a big
Huge.
Point of normalization.
Huge, absolutely massive. Way underrated.
And that Joey from Friends guy normalizing masturbation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if you go back, that's enough, man. That's enough. All right. So let's see what the casino card for the show is. And thank you very much for the support for the cats. I almost had to eat one of them in order to say the casino card for the show. I don't know why we started doing cards for the show, but it's interesting to me what cards come up. So especially on that one with Kale, right? Wasn't that wild? Casino card today is the 10. Another 10. That's the third 10 I've seen of hearts, even though the hearts die got a 20. And let's see what the Blue Church says about today's episode too, shall we? Shall we? You know, you haven't played near enough branding, sir. I know. Right, everyone, the card for the show, as far as the Blue Church deck thinks, and I did find it, by the way, is this one. Oh, 7 of spades, whatever that means. All right, a couple brandings, and then we'll do this whole, what is the stream? The JBP and Friends Exodus 11 commentary. Widows, orphans, and usury. You, sir. Welcome. We hope you're feeling virtually not alone. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, hey, it's Marty Stover. Stay strong. What? Marty, you ate Sylvia. Son of a... We're gonna... Well, so it goes. And so it goes. We're now about ready to begin this fancy pants Exodus 11 series seminar commentary. Oh dear, it does more kazoo. You know, the only thing that worries, that concerns me about Chad making such beautiful branding is that other people who could contribute the branding that they made are intimidated by the caliber of skill he possesses. Have a shanty. We all know that there is no agency any living gent can see doing what is right for me. Is lifting up my bro so he can grow some eyes to see that doing what is right for me increases all our agency. All right, fine, let's do it. All right. So Exodus seminars. So, do you got a thing up? Yay, look, there's Peter. Let me tell you this. Before, like, I can't. The 30 seconds before this portion at the 1:26:03, right? Those 30 seconds, which I, of course, suspect he used specifically to set the tone before they went into this piece, that is the most offensive. The last 10 seconds before this scene starts is so offensive I can't play it for you, and that I think is intentional. There's a cowbell. You want me to load that one up, Lenny? I can do that. I got the fever. All right. So here, like, wait. There was a thing I had to do, and I haven't done the thing I have to do, and now I will stall by playing this.
The list? Yes. Any of the first level ones.
I'm gonna get a soda. Anyone want one? Hey, Graham, I'm not in the room, right?
What room? I want to cast magic missile.
The room where he's casting all these spells from.
He hasn't cast anything yet. I am, though, if you'd listen. I'm casting magic missile. Why are you casting magic missile? There's nothing to attack here. I'm attacking the darkness.
Virtually not alone.
Found it. Here it is. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Okay, so the important part is that no, not that. We're not doing that's not what we're using. The fair use part is for this part. I'm making criticisms. No, this one.
This is an example of the broadening of the law in a fundamental manner, and so part of the moral revolution that's part 22:21. This is an example of the broadening of the law in a fundamental manner, and so part of the moral revolution that's part and parcel of this revelatory structure.
Well, thanks for setting up the frame for how we're supposed to be considering it there, buddy. Oh.
Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him. So there's the idea of the universality of the law. For you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Then that's extended down to the poor and those who are powerless. Ye shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If thou afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry, and my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless.
The people who dump on
Now, as you can see, Prager has to immediately jump in and deflect with comparative religions. And he's like, hey, no other religion says be nice to strangers. And that's his big contribution there. But what the big contribution of his big contribution is immediately like, wow, steering the conversation. What the next is added is by our goodest friend, Jonathan of the Peugeots, right about here.
Fundamentally, the expression of an oppressive patriarchal spirit. It's like, well, it doesn't look like it, not here. These are pretty harsh words. If you inflict them in any wise and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. So the patriarchal God of the Old Testament is putting himself firmly on the side of those victimized by the unfair
and there's
administration of
interesting
power.
eye for eye in the structure of this, where it's like, if you oppress the stranger, the widows, and the fatherless children, then your wife will become a widow, and then your children will be fatherless.
What do we, Dennis? What do we make of the command?
Dennis, how can we tie in the fact that he later on wants entire peoples dead in them books of Joshua and whatnot, and then Prager's like, well, first of all, we only take up until Exodus seriously, and that's common among my peoples. And secondly, well, you see, it's if he had not, if those weren't specific cases, and if it was just a general policy of destroy your enemies, then I wouldn't be sitting at this table with you, gentlemen. That's basically what Prager says there. And then they lean into like proving that they were exceptions and that this was the common rule by examining it from 5 different measures, as Peterson talks about Sam Harris and psychology. However, what I would like to do right after this, yes, I think Pagu is the alpha. Pagu is the alpha. No, wait, Prager is the alpha. Who is the alpha at this table, ladies and gentlemen? Tell us in the comments below while this beautiful branding plays. According to McMo in the Hive Mind chat, only kill everybody when God specifically tells you to. Slack has a hot comment, but first, what gossip have you about PragerU? As you know, there is no agency, and if there was one, Marty could say, "Hey, agency, what's up with PragerU?" But instead, has thrown it to the Hive Mind chat. And you can also leave the replies in the replay comments for what's the dirt you got on PragerU, guys? Let us know in the comments of the replay for a +5 on tomorrow's savings throw. And now This note from Slicarius. This certainly is a do unto others type of thing. Be not shitty the widows and orphans, lest your own wives and children become such. But the do unto others type of thing has no lest. It's just do it that because that's the way to be. But let's go back to the actual text. I don't know if I'll make him read it again, but there we go. Make him quiet, and there we go. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye. I gave him a reason. You know what it's like. You remember what it's like? Don't do that. Don't do that. And then no afflict in any way. If you afflict them in any way, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. Now, this is the portion that is most important to me and us and our purposes here, because we believe that if there is a powerful entity that some call God, or I can't say his name or he'll smite me, right? Anyway, if there is such a powerful entity, and he uttered this following phrase, right? He says, if you afflict them in any way, and they cry unto me, I will surely hear it, and I'll get mad and kill you. Now, these nice guys doing their thing at the table aren't really treating these as the word of the Lord, I guess. I think they're doing some kind of psychological examination of it or whatever. But imagine, if you will, for a moment, that this is a divine being and it's making this covenant. Now, you and I, being humans, fallible and with free will, can freely break our word at any time, but can the perfect divine? Perhaps not. And if the perfect divine cannot, and as strangers, widows, or orphans, we feel vexed in any wise, is it not a matter of us actually crying woe unto the correct divine entity? That some justice might be done around this mug? What? Shh. Okay, so like the Christians tell me that the deity that wrote that's speaking here in the old passage is the one that that was incarnated into the one that they worship, and as such, they should know who to cry woe unto, and so maybe we should just cry woe more often when we're vexed. I'm sorry. I told you I told you in the beginning what this stream was about. Chad, as a veteran YouTuber who has made the monetization process, I can answer your question. I wonder how many people here have seen my old videos, like from a year or older. 0, Chad. 0. And if we have seen them, we've forgotten them entirely in the flood of content we consume. So sorry. Hopefully, some people have reaped out the best parts and put it in a distillate We can play at the end of the year or something. He's changing his name to McMowo. All right, let's jump on to this next part. Muslims and Calvin. What? Muslims and Calvin. Oh, weird. That was the autoplay. What? Muslims and Calvin. What? Is this it? Yes, yeah. Welcome. We're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of them Grim Grizz streams, and it's slime. What? It's a river of slime. But it's also the JBP and Friends Exodus 11 commentary. Widows, orphans, and usury. Shofit Kekomega. I hope you're all feeling virtually not alone. I know I am. Feels like you're watching me. Welcome. This is the dream catcher of optimal grip. We don't talk about it often enough, but I show it to you plenty. And special thanks to the shadow cabal of production executives that make this and my life itself possible. All right, now on to what is it? 2325? No, wait. What? Oh, wow. Streamlabs will put up whatever you hit, whatever you have last up if you press the space bar. Check that out.
Right. Okay. So
that's why I call my commentary the Rational Bible.
So 22:25 ends chapter 22 for our purposes. This is a complicated one because we're in a society now that charges interest.
What makes that complicated? What makes that complicated at all, past Papa Peterson? Why does that make it complicated? Please expound, sir. How is it a complication? Because we live in a society that has fallen into usury. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be unto him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. First and foremost, I'd like to note that way back then, they already had predatory interest rates.
Lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. The Mohammedan world, the Islamic world, has taken a similar idea to an extreme. Their economic systems aren't reliant on the use of money lent at interest.
Which is true in Christendom until the Reformation.
Right.
In the Christian tradition, you are not allowed to lend with interest within the Christian world. And it's only Calvin, I think, who changed that.
Oh,
okay. And so
I misheard him. I thought he said Calvin. I thought it was a hot thing. But the fact that I didn't know that either. Say that again, John. I didn't know that.
Economic systems.
Which is true in Christendom until the Reformation.
Right.
In the Christian tradition, you are not allowed to lend with interest within the Christian world. And it's only Calvin, I think, who changed that.
Okay. And so
all kinds of ways.
Let's look at that for a moment. Wasn't it when the Reformation, when the church lost power? Wait a minute. That's what. Keep going.
It's around that though, right?
Yeah, there are ways around it. We know.
For those who will use the money.
Where's it at?
So
where's it at?
It seems to have an effect on the way in which.
All right. So this happens from time to time. Shanty already. Son of a. Oh, thank.
Now what'll that asshole think of next? Is anybody got a dime? I don't know.
Ups did. Ups has a dime, and they gave. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What are you doing? You're playing branding while you look for something again. Oh. This song has been stuck in my head since I've been using it as branding. How about for you guys? Well,
to be ways
important for
so
within
interest, Islamic thou lay upon him usury.
Yeah, I was trying to find a spot where they do the bottom half. Neighbors, maybe they don't do the bottom half. Maybe they just stop there. But let's talk for a moment about this. It says, if thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee. No, Prager does it like a general call to charity and whatnot. But the important part is really the my people part. Because remember, at this point in history, there was a difference between my people and everybody. And the thing is this. If he says the word though. Oh, okay. I actually have to find that. We have transcripts to search. Oh man, I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it just too far off the rails now? We prefer to have the invisible hand to the ever. Oh, I didn't. What's that hand doing? What's that hand doing? I'd like to be that one guy in the Bible and come to visit for dinner when my kids are old. What the hell are you guys even talking about out there? Chad, are you trying to get people go to your... you have 3 seats left. In Chad's denim party, go in my basement in Wisconsin. I don't know if anybody has sponsored me yet, but he's got 3 sleets left. Sleets. All right, well... It's for criticism purposes. I'm trying to find where you say the magic word, Bob Peterson.
The Mohammedan world, the Islamic world, has taken a similar idea to an extreme. Their economic systems aren't reliant on the use of money lent at interest.
Which is true in Christendom until the Reformation.
Right.
In the Christian tradition, you were not allowed to lend with interest within the Christian world, and it's only Calvin, I think, who changed that.
Okay, and so
all kinds of ways around that, though, right?
Islamic finance.
Usury just means predatory interest rates. Like they're right next to the convenience store where there's nothing but addictive stuff is 2 loan places side by side in my town, like Heartland and something else. And you know that they have brilliant offerductory interest rates, like 25%. And then it goes up to 89%. But yeah, usury is predatory lending, essentially. And Chad's been trying to pull that finger for a long time. Yes, the epitome of a lawful evil institution. Here are the laws, and it's legal for us to eat you this way, thanks to the laws. Apparently, Father Eric and Ted have an Arkansas poetry discussion. That's the first I've heard of it. Are those their marketing is failing them. Okay, it's I have notes. And we like 33s. So let's see, 55 is okay.
Economic systems aren't reliant on
135.07.
Rule you.
This is why people take notes.
Not a ban.
Is that why it is to any of my people that is poor by thee?
That's right. It's not a ban on loans.
Right. So it's a ban
only
on...
with regard to the very poor. Help them out.
Yeah.
So basically, it's really an injunction for charity.
I see. So
that's really what it is.
Don't charge people below the poverty line 30% on their credit cards.
Sounds right.
So I've been thinking.
Did you see how careful his agreement was on that one? That wasn't the part. It's find the magic word and stop.
It's true.
Oh, yeah, and of course. Okay. So it turns out that if I had just let it play, he was going to say the magic word. And then I was supposed to do the part I'm about to do. And then I was supposed to play that Prager charity clip and then ask him for a loan. But none of that happened. Here's Peterson saying the magic word that explains what's really created. Actually, this is how you create one.
In Christendom until the Reformation.
Right.
In the Christian tradition, you were not allowed to lend with interest within the Christian world. And it's only Calvin, I think, who changed that.
Okay, and so
all kinds of ways around that, though, right? I mean,
Islamic finance has is
yeah. Well, there has to be ways around it.
But the question is why? That's the question. Why was it important for the early Christians, even though people would always get around whatever rule you put?
It's important so they wouldn't be mafia dons. It's like, pay me.
Why was it important for the early Christians, even though people would always get around whatever rule you put?
It's important so they wouldn't be mafia dons. It's like, pay me 25%, next week, or I'll break your legs. Dons. It's like,
always get around whatever rule.
That's the exact point. If you don't, then you have mafia dons within your own people. But if you only don't charge interest within your own people, then you're the mafia don. What? Are you, Grim, are you implying that the story of Exodus was about how the pharaohs sent a group of people out into Egypt and then gave them a set of rules and marched them around till the old ones all died? So the old rules died with the old people, and then you have these new rules that makes a group that charges usury to everybody, not them. And 2,000 years later, what? Oh no, I would never. Whoever has that accusation in your head, abandon it now. I would never suggest that any of that.
Rule you put.
It's important so they wouldn't be mafia dons. It's like,
remember, there is no agency. We want what's best. Now, hey, Hezzy. All is entertaining, my friend. All is entertaining. That's all of the commentary I wanted to make. I always make such a big deal of that portion of the book of Exodus that I really felt it was appropriate for me to elaborate on why I do. And since we're Peterson, what is it? Droppings, coattail riding, adjacent. Peterson adjacent. I thought this was an excellent opportunity for me to do so. I think what we've learned today is that since that woe crying line appears to be part of a covenant with a divine being, that should we be able to address our woes appropriately, there will be the situation should improve. And secondly, that whatever our people are, we should really start giving each other interest-free loans, because then it's like the blood that flows through the community nourishes the entire community, and not just big ticks, or and I guess I should have ran that anything you want to say in conclusion line first. But since I didn't, we'll do the hive mind opportunity of...
Do you have anything you want to say in conclusion?
Let us know now for an extra +2 to next stream saves.
Is everything all right in here?
Yes, Nanny.
And the new one, the legendary... Oh, I'm sorry. The music break gets me. Did you guys have things to say in conclusion? Let's see what the hive mind has to say, folks. Ball is everybody. Like we got thumbs pointing. I guess I don't to this. So maybe that's what David Walker was. I don't. What are those emojis even? They look like fingers to me. Fingers. Marty says, I have abandoned the implication and have gotten a head start on taxes. Sean Grimm says, when they own the system, that is the finance system, they are the dons. Don't forget, watching this show means your CDBC will probably no longer work. Friday Morning Nameless says, Peterson Dingleberries. Milan says, he only used Italians because he couldn't use the other ones. That's the pharaohs. Nobody talks about the pharaoh. If you're mad at the middle management, you're part of the problem. Ultimately, use dead and Rumpelstiltskin will take your future potential. Oh, wow. That's a deeper lesson in Rumpelstiltskin than I realized. He was like Mitzelplix, right? You just had to say his name backwards. Oh, what a clown show. Goodbye. No, wait, what? Chad, please make a branding tutorial.